If you're ever driving down Independence Boulevard, headed towards Northampton Boulevard, and you're really looking for it, you might see a green sign on the side of the road that reads Gracetown, 1991. That is the year the city of Virginia Beach finally paved Gracetown streets, added water lines, drainage, installed heating systems and indoor plumbing, but it is by no means the starting date of this historically Black community where residents chose joy in the face of several obstacles. This story takes us to Gracetown, and more specifically, Weldon Street. Back in the day, this street was the only one in and out of this community.
My name is Fanny Williams Dixon, old-fashioned Fanny, Fannie. I'm from Virginia Beach. As I remember, my grandfather telling me, because I used to question him all the time, one of the slave owners got this neighborhood, and he got all the Black people to come together in this neighborhood, and he had a daughter named Grace. So he named it after this daughter, and everybody started calling it Gracetown. Princess Anne County is what it was really first named. My grandfather was a farmer. There were 8 of us, but 7 of us lived together. And my grandfather, he had like all the vacant lots in the neighborhood. And it was about over 200, 250 people that lived in it. But we looked out for each other.
Fanny's grandfather had a garden that kept them and their neighbors fed.
You didn't know you were poor until you got out of the neighborhood, because everything that he grew in the neighborhood, people had a chance to go to the fields, pick whatever. If it was beans, corns, beets, squash, or tomatoes, anything, the neighborhood could go and get that, and then it was just shared with everybody. You looked out for your neighbor. If we had something to eat, Mr. Jefferson down here had something to eat. There were a lot of kids. There were a lot of us, and if one of them got in trouble, all of us were in trouble because we would help out. Oh, just the joy of just growing up in a neighborhood. We didn't let you go by yourself. We didn't let you do anything by yourself, That's the neighborhood we grew up in. They built our school at Princess Anne County Training School down there off of Cleveland Street, and we had to be bused down. The bus that we caught, it was pick up from Burden, Lake Smith, Gracetown, and Beechwood. So we had to be out there by 7 o'clock in the morning on the front of, which is called Independence Boulevard now, but it was just a 2-lane highway. And that's where we all would meet under the big tree. In case it would rain, get cold, had a little shelter or whatever under the tree. We would just be out there waiting for the school bus. And of course, the white kids would come by, call us names, throw eggs. At first, when it first started, we were reluctant and kept back. But then it's like the guys all together, and the girls were all together. So and when they started something, we were right behind them. We would start getting rocks and have a little piles, have our little eggs out there. And when we would still get eggs from home, we just bring them home. Mom of them didn't know we were doing it. Parents didn't know we were doing that. But we would bring them. And then when they start throwing, we just start throwing. When the school bus started going, we start. And then they stopped it, finally, because they know we weren't going to take it. Yeah, it was a good time, because that's something that, hey, y'all started it, so we're going to end it.
Despite being a taxpayer, Fanny's grandfather still had to advocate for basic attention from the city. He was living in a time when the color of your skin determined your place, and there was an unspoken tax that weighed heavily on the shoulders of Black Virginia Beach residents. People like Fanny's grandfather found themselves in a relentless battle for basic rights and dignity.
My grandfather was one of the other instrumental in me. Black neighborhoods, you had holes down the road. You didn't have no streets. You had roads, but, white folks had streets or whatever. And so he would get up early in the morning and he would put on his Sunday clothes, go to the courthouse and sit down until somebody would ask him what he wanted, what he's doing there. So he would even thumb his way to the courthouse. Then just sit there till they will listen at what he wanted.
Once he got an audience, he pushed for the basic services that the residents of Gracetown needed.
And that's how, in Gracetown, how we started getting the roads and getting the streets paved and whatever. And the first street was Weldon Street, was paved because that's the street we lived on. And see, you had big holes and all, and he just got tired of it. So then finally, then all the streets start getting paved and start getting there. But he went after what he wanted. He saw the need. And that's the way I am because I got a big mouth. But it was good because everybody that was the only street we'd come because everything crossed on Weldon. One by one, they start doing all. So the neighborhood start, growing and getting like that. The streets paved.
These improvements were completed in 1992. By then, the city had paved other neighborhoods, white neighborhoods, but had neglected historically Black ones. And then the Target Neighborhood Program came along and allocated funds to make overdue investments in Black neighborhoods in Virginia Beach. The infrastructure improvements that followed as a result of this program and the advocacy of Gracetown residents helped to improve basic living conditions. But they also brought about other changes to the neighborhood, ones they hadn't anticipated.
Integration was kind of bad for us because we were that village and you could check or do anybody's kids or whatever, but you can't do that now. So, but if we had just had equal share of schools and books and any and everything else, it would have been all right. But, then it is good because it opens up a lot of stuff too, but it was just bad for us as being Black folk.
The look and feel of Fanny's community changed, along with the improvements that her grandfather had advocated for. She no longer lives in Gracetown. How can you be part of helping your neighborhood stay current while maintaining the kind of connectivity that Fanny remembers? And when you move into a new neighborhood, how can its past help to inform your actions? Visit our website, truthbetoldcommunity.com, to find out ways to get involved and share this episode with friends. This series was written by Jackie Glass and Hannah Sobel, edited and hosted by me, Nicole Hill, sound designed by Trendell Lightburn, and our work has been supported by the Virginia African American Cultural Center through a grant from Virginia Tourism Corporation. Follow our work by subscribing wherever you get your podcasts. We couldn't do this without people brave enough to share their experiences. So thank you, Mrs. Fanny Williams Dixon.